How's it going, everybody? Rocky Mountain EDC here, and today I have a little review of a multi-tool that I've been using for the past 2 years, and that is the Gerber Dime. This multi-tool is perhaps one of the most carried and used tools in my EDC rotation. And the reasons for why this is probably the most essential or the most used or carried aspect is due to its practicality and what I need it for. So again, Gerber Dime is a multi-tool, so it's going to have multiple functions. However, if you notice, it is quite small. So in comparison to larger multi-tools that Gerber also provides, or SOG has, or Leatherman, it is a very small multi-tool. However, I believe that this multi-tool is perfect for everyday carry, because one of the main issues that I've had with larger multi-tools based upon my lifestyle is they're a bit overkill and they're essentially just extra weight. Yes, they're handy in a pinch when I need a larger multi-tool with its multiple functions that has more functions on it, or the pliers themselves are larger, more sturdy. But for the most part, I'm not engaging in anything that is going to require me to use those heavy-duty pliers or heavy-duty multi-tools. I'm not a mechanic, not in construction, so I don't really need anything in terms of my multi-tool being extremely robust. However, for the most part, the Gerber Dime is perfect for everyday carry. And again, this particular model is perfect size for fitting inside of your fifth pocket or your watch pocket. So it can easily slide in there, and you don't even notice that you have it on you. Yet, I think that it is bigger in its use than it is in its size, and I think it is very practical. There are a few things on here that are not the best, and I think they could have worked a little better on some of the design implements. But without further ado, let's get into the actual multi-tool itself. So again, as you can see, it has some wear on it. So this is essentially the handle, or the outside material that's housing all of the tools and the pliers is an aluminum material, and it is just essentially painted over. So it will wear, so that is good to know that if you don't like the wear, if you do use it, it will chip off. But personally, I think it gives it character with that kind of wear on it. I do have this kind of attached little lanyard thing on here. It's nothing special. I pulled this off of an old flashlight. Nothing crazy, but this is actually pretty nice. When I do have it in my fifth pocket, this kind of dangles out, and then I can just pull it out very easily. So that is kind of a nice aspect, and it does have that that ring on there. So if you want to attach a lanyard or put it on your keychain, I did put it on my keychain for a while, and personally I didn't really like it. I don't really like having something that has pliers being on my keychain. It just gets really clunky. So took that off. It's better by itself like this, but you can, if you want to, put it on your keychain. So again, not a crazy expensive knife. You can get this for about 30 bucks. So again, you're not spending too much for a multi-tool. You're getting something that's going to have, multi-purpose use. Perfect for EDC in my opinion, and it's not going to break the bank. So not going to be over $100. So again, that's how I like to carry it on my person. But other than that, if we just look at the design implement itself without opening it up, we can see that we have a bottle opener or cap lifter right here. And I will say that this is probably one of the best parts of this multi-tool. Again, because it is just sticking off the surface. You don't have to open up the tool or pull anything out to actually use this implement. If you don't like this sticking out, well, then you probably won't like that implement. But I personally like it because I can pull it out. If I need to pop open something, I can quickly do that and put it away. I don't have to open up the knife or pull anything out or anything like that. So that is actually a nice designed implement. And it actually serves as an extension for something to hold on to when you are using the pliers. Because again, it is a smaller tool. You don't really have a lot of hand placement or area to put your hands when you're using the tool itself. So another nice implement of this design is that all the tools are accessible, besides the pliers, are accessible without having to actually open up the design, which I personally prefer. I don't want to have to always open up my multi-tool to then pull out the tools to use them, and then when I have that tool out, close it and then use it. And it's just kind of, in my opinion, kind of ridiculous, but that's my opinion. So this compared to my Leatherman Sidekick, the Sidekick, you have to open up the tool to pull out all the other implements, which is partly why I don't carry that one and I carry this. I'm not saying that the Leatherman Sidekick is a bad multi-tool, but in this case, these design implements fit my needs better. So again, all tools are accessible from the outside. We do have a little bit of tiny pliers that you can also pull out as well. Nothing special, very similar to what you would find on like a Victorinox pliers. So nothing crazy there. It is a nice implement you have if you have splinters or need to grab anything extremely small. Those are kind of nice. So moving on to some of the tools, we have standard scissors, and I would say these scissors are okay. I find it very hard for Gerber or SOG or Leatherman to beat Victorinox on their scissors. Victorinox, in my opinion, has some of the best scissors on their multi-tools, on their Swiss Army knives than any other brand. They're reliable, the spring tension's always good, and they're always extremely sharp, and they work effectively. So just kind of as a comparison, I have the Victorinox SD Classic on my keychain, and we have these scissors right here. So we can kind of see some of these differences. And again, these, even though this is, the SD Classic is not anything crazy, these scissors still outperform these ones. They're sharper, they have better spring tension, just in my opinion. And they're thinner as well, so they're very easy to use. So again, these scissors are okay. They're not the best, but they're not horrible. They'll get the job done if you need them. Haven't had any problems there. Then on the other side of this face, we have essentially a box opener type design, so kind of a draw tool to pull and open up boxes or anything that you want to cut without over piercing into the material. So these are really good for clam packages, for toys, or anything that's inside of those plastic clam packages. These are perfect for kind of outlining and getting whatever it is you need to get out. So this is pretty decent. Nothing crazy here. I do like this design implement of this kind of swoop right here. I don't know if this was intended or not, But again, because this is such a small tool, you don't really have a lot of purchase, but it's almost as if this little swoop right here is kind of designed for your finger, so you can get better control on whatever it is that you're trying to open up. So again, very basic tool, really nice if you don't want to use the blade on this knife, because the blade on this multi-tool is actually probably the most disappointing aspect of the multi-tool itself. So this is really good for most tasks. So I would say this side, the scissors and the kind of box opener cutting tool are kind of the best implements with the bottle opener. And then we get to the other side, which not super impressive. So we have a standard blade here, nothing crazy. Kind of has a sheep's foot reverse Tonto design on there, which I do kind of like on a multi-tool. Again, it doesn't need to have a super clip point or drop point design. I think this is pretty nice. It does kind of give you that downward tip to kind of pull cut if you want to use that as well, but I think the box cutter is better for that. So nothing crazy there. This is actually, for some reason, very difficult to sharpen. And I don't know if when I got this with the edge on it, it was kind of tilting one side, almost rounded over. So that was kind of disappointing. And I think I've been trying to work it back out to here, but this is such a crappy steel that they used, and it does not take an edge very well. It must be like 3 CR 13 MOV or something crazy. It's not the greatest, but again, it's a sharp piece of metal that you can use for basic cutting tasks. Then we get to the last bit of the tools on the outside, and when we get to kind of the file, it's kind of a poor design implement on their side, and we'll get to that. But it does have a standard kind of flathead screwdriver or scraper right there. Pretty useful. Nothing crazy. It is very short, so you're not going to get a lot of reach. However, I do kind of have a kind of idea with the other tool. If you do need extra reach, sometimes in these cases you can kind of do something like this, and then if you have the tool here, you can kind of have a longer tool to use if you needed that extra handle. But again, standard flathead on that side, nothing crazy. And then the file, which is just kind of pitiful. So again, you have this very short little file, and what could also be used as a smaller flathead, or even kind of a way to use it also as a Phillips head as well. Not super great, but you could use that in a pinch if you needed to. But again, you have this file, dual-sided, but again, look at the placement of that file when it's open. It is jam-packed with the lanyard ring and the bottle opener cap lifter. So kind of a bad design if you're wanting to use this to file something down. You're kind of stuck with jamming into all these other implements. And then the other side, I mean, I guess is okay, but still, that was kind of a poor design implement, in my opinion. That would have been a fine spot to put the scissors. You don't really need, these other implements aren't really gonna hinder that, because the cutting blades for the scissors are gonna be out here. So they could have reversed those to make it a little bit more practical. But again, you can use it in a pinch, just not the best design implement on their part. Then let's get to the pliers, kind of the most useful part of this tool besides the cap lifter and some of the other tools, but this is very practical. And again, it's nice to have such a compact tool that also has pliers on it. And we just have some standard needle nose pliers here with kind of a metal wire cutter there. This is not very good back here. This wire cutter, it's not sharp at all. But again, this kind of compact design pliers is probably the best part. And again, I can use this to grab anything that I need to get out, so I can kind of use it as a grabbing tool. Really good to tighten down any bolts or nuts or anything that are getting loose, especially on my car. Very good for those implements. And it's easy to carry, and you have a decent set of pliers. Now again, are these going to be the most amazing pliers in the world? Are they going to be able to stand up to some of the big multi-tools? No, but they can do a basic task. If you need pliers on you, you have these, and these are going to get the job done for the most part in everyday carry tasks. So again, the Gerber Dime is a pretty great EDC tool. Not the best, but for me, it does serve a very practical purpose. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick overview and review. And if you would, please like and subscribe to Rocky Mountain EDC. Thank you. Bye-bye.